Graham Norton has invited tons of famous people to his big talk show, making some of the most fun interviews ever on TV. For years, his show has been the perfect mix of fast jokes, playful teasing, and those awesome moments that everyone shares on the internet. His easy charm and special talent for making even shy guests talk have made the Graham Norton Show loved all over the world. Everywhere you go, people watch for the fun chats, funny stories, and crazy surprises that make normal interviews super exciting. But honestly, not every guest has been easy to deal with. Some have been cold, bored, or just plain difficult, turning a fun night of laughs into a weird and stressful time. Over time, Graham has dropped little hints about the guests he didn't like, and sometimes he's even been honest about the ones who made his job really hard. Now, at 62 years old, he is finally telling the truth, revealing the 6 guests he absolutely couldn't stand, and the reasons for these awkward meetings might shock you. Graham Norton was actually born as Graham William Walker on April 4, 1963, in a place called Clondalkin near Dublin, Ireland, but he spent most of his childhood in a quiet town called Bandon. His dad, Billy Walker, sold Guinness beer for a living, and his mom, Rhoda, was a caring teacher. Since he was a little kid, Graham was known for being super smart, funny, and curious, which are things that would later make him one of the most loved stars on British TV. Graham went to Bandon Grammar School, where his natural talent for telling stories and acting started to show. Even though he could be a bit shy sometimes, he loved making people laugh and felt happy when he was being funny. After finishing school, he went to college to study English and French. But deep down, he didn't really care about school books. He was dreaming of being on stage. Determined to chase that big dream, Graham did something brave. He left college before finishing and moved to London to try and become a performer. But life in the big city wasn't fancy at all. He worked random jobs, struggled to pay for food, and kept taking acting classes at a drama school. It was during this hard time that he changed his name to the one the world knows today, Graham Norton. Even though things were tough, he never gave up, and his charm helped him succeed. What started as a hard struggle in London turned into one of the best success stories in British entertainment. This is the rise of a man who would become one of TV's most loved hosts. After his training, Graham spent years performing in small comedy clubs and little theaters all over the city. Those early days were full of mistakes and trying new things. He started doing a style of comedy that was smart, kind, and funny about himself. This mix would soon become his special style. His first big chance came in the early 1990s when his clever stand-up comedy started getting noticed. Then, in 1996, everything changed for him. He filled in as a guest host on a show called The Jack Docherty Show, and his quick humor and cool vibe instantly grabbed everyone's attention. Just 2 years later, in 1998, his own show, So Graham Norton, started on TV, and it was a huge hit right away, making him famous and starting his amazing career. So Graham Norton was bold, wild, and totally funny, filling his show with star interviews, weird games, and fun chats with the audience that showed he could make anyone feel comfortable. His cheeky jokes and easy charm made him a favorite for both stars and fans, and he won many big awards. After that success, he hosted another show that proved he was one of the most entertaining and unpredictable hosts on TV. His fast jokes turned awkward moments into pure fun, and his real curiosity made even the biggest stars share their secrets. In 2007, the BBC saw his talent and gave him a show that would change his life forever. The Graham Norton Show started on one channel before moving to the biggest one. It quickly became a hit all over the world. Unlike normal talk shows, Graham puts all the guests on the same couch at the same time, which starts funny and surprise conversations. The chill vibe and Graham's easy hosting created tons of famous moments that went viral online. Besides his talk show, he has hosted huge events like the Eurovision Song Contest and New Year's Eve parties, plus a radio show. His career proves that sticking with it and being yourself works, turning a struggling Irish actor into a name everyone knows. Graham Norton has now shared the guests he hated the most. Number 1 is Mickey Rourke. His visit to the show was totally different from fun guests like Mark Wahlberg, turning what should have been a fun time into a weird and uncomfortable moment. From the second Mickey Rourke sat on the red sofa, it was clear he didn't want to be fun. His answers were super short, his voice was boring, and he barely looked at the other guests. Even Graham, who is famous for ping chats going, seemed to have a hard time getting him to talk. Sometimes Mickey's unclear answers forced Graham to ask many extra questions just to understand him, leading to long, awkward silences. The weirdness wasn't just in what he said. It showed in how he moved. He leaned back, didn't look anyone in the eye, and looked totally bored, acting like he wanted to be anywhere else. The usual fun and jokes of the show disappeared fast, and the room felt heavy. Graham had to carry the whole talk himself because Mickey didn't care. What could have been a fun part of the show became one of the hardest interviews Graham ever did. It left both the host and the audience feeling stressed. Next on the list was Mark Wahlberg. His visit in 2013 remains one of the craziest and most awkward moments ever seen on the red sofa. Fans watching to see Mark's cool style were instead shocked by what happened. Unlike other difficult guests who act bored, Mark's problem wasn't that he didn't care. It was that he cared way too much. He was super energetic, talked too much, and it soon became clear he was more than a little drunk. From the moment he joined the chat, his crazy behavior took over the show. He interrupted Graham and the other guest, Sarah Silverman, over and over, saying random things that made the audience squirm and turning a fun night into a mess. Mark's attempts to be funny quickly got out of control, and the interview got weird. In a moment no one expected, he climbed onto Graham Norton's lap, wrapped an arm around him, and mumbled some awkward jokes. Graham, being a pro, tried to play along, but his smile showed how uncomfortable he really was. Even Sarah Silverman looked shocked by the chaos happening next to her. Later, Graham admitted it wasn't easy, saying, "He was just out of it. I mean, really out of it." Viewers at home couldn't believe their eyes. Some thought it was weirdly funny, while others felt second-hand embarrassment. For a show known for fun jokes, this moment crossed the line from funny to uncomfortable. Mark later laughed about it, admitting he had a few drinks before filming and enjoyed himself too much. Still, the night left a mark on the show, reminding everyone that even cool stars can surprise you. Next on the list was Robert De Niro. Even though he is famous as one of the best actors ever, De Niro is also known for being one of the hardest people to interview. His time on the Graham Norton show proved exactly why. Unlike most guests who come ready to tell stories and laugh, De Niro was very quiet and serious. From the moment he sat on the famous red sofa, it was clear that keeping the talk going would be hard work. Graham, who is usually great at making quiet guests talk, quickly realized that De Niro's answers were short and careful, leaving no room for the usual fun sparkle of the show. At times, Robert De Niro just gave a nod, a small smile, or a few simple words. The usually fast and lively beat of the show suddenly needed way more effort and patience. Graham tried his best to make things fun with jokes and easy questions, but De Niro stayed calm and guarded, only showing a little bit of what he was thinking. At one point, the difference between De Niro's calm mood and the show's energy was so big that Graham joked, "This is hard work, Robert." This perfectly showed the challenge of keeping the chat alive. Even for a host who knows how to handle big personalities, this interview tested his skills. Though De Niro is known for being tough to talk to, seeing it happen on TV was intense. It wasn't full of laughs, but it was interesting to watch a legend act this way. Sometimes the quiet guests leave the biggest memory. By the end, despite the quiet tone, the interview gave fans a rare look at De Niro's thoughtful side. A quiet moment that stayed in people's minds long after the show ended. Next came Kevin Costner. His time on the show wasn't wild or dramatic. It was just simply awkward. While Graham's show relies on fast jokes, cheeky teasing, and happy energy, Costner's calm and serious mood was totally different. He wasn't rude, but his steady, serious vibe didn't really fit the show's playful style. Throughout the chat, Costner often answered Graham's jokes in a flat, serious way, missing the light humor that makes the show great. The usual back-and-forth rhythm that fans love seemed to stop, creating moments that felt more uncomfortable than funny. It became clear that while Costner is amazing in movies, the quick, funny flow of a talk show wasn't his comfortable spot. Graham Norton has often said how important it is for guests to understand the mood of his show. Thinking about his harder interviews, he once said, "Some people just aren't made for this style. They don't get it, and that's fine, but it can make the show feel very long." In Kevin Costner's case, that seemed to be true. Costner's star power was clear, but on Norton's loud stage, it created a mix that was both awkward and kind of fascinating. Number 5 on Norton's list is Harvey Weinstein. Before he got in huge trouble and lost his fame, Weinstein was on the Graham Norton Show, an episode that Graham probably wishes never happened. At the time, Weinstein was still a huge boss in Hollywood, a producer with lots of power. Yet even then, little rumors about him being mean and bossy were starting to spread. On set, his presence immediately changed the mood. Long before the world knew the full bad truth, it was clear Graham found the chat uncomfortable. Weinstein took over the conversation, interrupting both Graham and his guests over and over to talk about himself. His arrogance was obvious, and it sucked the fun out of the show. Graham, known for being calm and quick, clearly struggled to keep things under control, trying his best to steer the talk while handling Weinstein's interruptions. Years later, after the shocking news of Weinstein's bad behavior came out, Graham looked back on that episode with new understanding. "I had no idea at the time," he admitted, "but looking back, it all starts to make sense." That appearance is now a creepy reminder, a rare look at a man whose nice public image hid a much darker reality. It is a moment both Norton and his viewers will never forget. Number 6, Daryl Hannah. Over the years, Graham Norton has welcomed hundreds of stars to his famous red sofa. But when asked about the hardest guest he's ever had, one name always comes up: Daryl Hannah. Unlike guests who are loud, rude, or not funny, Hannah's problem was something else. She simply refused to join in. Graham Norton has described his interview with Daryl Hannah as one of the most painful of his career. Her answers were just one word long, and long, awkward silences filled the conversation, making it almost impossible to keep talking. Later on, Graham admitted that it often felt like Hannah had been dragged onto the show against her will. Unlike other shy guests who still try to talk, Hannah looked totally checked out, showing zero interest in being there. Her refusal to play along left Graham with nowhere to go, making even his usual jokes and tricks useless. What should have been a fun and lively part of the show became a tense and awkward struggle, leaving both Graham and the audience frustrated. For the host, it was more than just a hard interview. It was a lasting reminder of how tough it can be when a guest simply refuses to play along. Graham Norton, born as Graham William Walker on April 4, 1963 in Dublin, grew up in a happy Irish home and developed a natural talent for humor that would later define his life. From a young age, he was quick with jokes and great at telling stories, often entertaining family and friends with his funny voices. He went on to study English and history at college, where he practiced his comedy even more in local theater and clubs. Norton has always been open about who he is, coming out as gay early in his career, which was a brave step back when people weren't as accepting. He has shared that his family, especially his mom, supported him, giving him the confidence to follow his dreams. Outside of TV, Norton is known for loving books, classic movies, and art, often speaking happily about these hobbies in interviews. Despite being famous worldwide, Graham Norton stays grounded through close friendships and values personal connections to help him handle the busy celebrity life. His kindness and charm off-screen have earned him love from coworkers and fans. Today, he remains a top star in TV, continuing to make audiences happy with his sharp wit, quick humor, and cool presence. He hosts The Graham Norton Show, a world-famous talk show that brings Hollywood's top stars to his iconic red sofa, mixing celebrity interviews with fun games and moments with the audience. The show is celebrated for its special mix of surprises, humor, and real warmth, attracting big actors, singers, and comedians from all over the globe. Beyond his main show, Norton has done many other projects, like narrating documentaries, hosting special events, and popping up on other TV shows. He is also active on the radio, hosting shows that highlight his love of music and stories. In recent years, he has used the internet too, staying on social media to talk to fans and share his personal hobbies. Off-screen, Graham continues to fight for LGBTQ+ rights, frequently speaking about fairness and equality, balancing a busy career with his personal passions. His life today reflects both his hard work in entertainment and his love for connection, laughter, and including everyone in everything he does.